How's everyone doing today? Great. Thank you guys for coming. On behalf of the Physique Science Club, we thank you guys for joining us today. This is probably the first of many talks that our club will present over the following years. So Jack and I are very honored to be the first ones. So thank you guys. So how many of you guys know what flexible dieting is? Or have at least heard about it? Nobody has. Okay. Well, very few people have. Okay. Have any of you guys been on a diet, a very strict diet, and found that it was not sustainable? Probably most of you guys, right? Yeah. Okay. So what if I told you you could have things like this? Like this. Doritos. And even these delicious Pop-Tarts. Go ahead and pass these around, guys. I brought these for you guys. So. Oh. And Okay, guys. So what I want to talk to you today about is flexible dieting. And flexible dieting, what I'm going to talk about is what it actually is, what are the benefits, and how can you incorporate it into your diet. So I'm going to talk about who I am, what exactly is flexible dieting, and what is not flexible dieting, because there is some misconception out there. The problems with traditional diets, how to track macros, how to implement flexible dieting into your life, like I just said, some benefits, and then some real-life examples of clients using flexible dieting. So who am I? That guy's a lot better looking. I'm David Mathis. I'm graduating in December with my master's. And just a few more weeks. It's going fast. Yeah. Wow. I was a combat medic in the Army for 4 years. I am 35 years old. I am newly married. My wife is right here. I've held numerous personal training certifications since 2008, prior to going into the Army. I am a Team Bio Lane coach. Have any of you guys heard of Wayne Norton? Yep. Okay. So I've been with Wayne for a little over 2.5 years now. Started as an intern, learned the coaching business, ran numerous areas of his company, and have grown into my own self-sustaining coach now. And, like I said, I'm a husband and a dog dad of 4. Okay, so can anybody tell me, without looking at that, what is a diet? In your own words. Anybody? Something that you hate. Okay. Anybody else have an idea what a diet is? Okay, what you consume? All right. So, the International Society of Sports Nutrition posted this definition. A general definition of diet is the sum of energy and nutrients obtained from foods and beverages you consume regularly. So, that orange juice you drink, that steak you eat, that pizza you eat, that piece of broccoli you eat, all of that needs to be accounted for in your macros. Except on Sundays, because those are the Lord's carbs. So what flexible dieting is? First of all, flexible dieting is not a diet. That's a really big misconception, okay? It is a tool that we have at our disposal to make sure that we not only hit our macronutrient targets, but that we're actually enjoying the food that we're consuming. That is a big part of it, okay, guys? If you're not going to enjoy what you're eating, you're not going to sustain it. Whether you're trying to gain weight, lose weight, maintain weight, whatever it is. Flexible dieting also promotes that there is no bad food, hence the reason why I passed around candy, Doritos, Pop-Tarts, things like that. There's just food. All food has nutrients in it, right? Your body is going to use the nutrients for something. The carbs in candy will be used for energy. The fat in candy will be used for energy or storage, things like that. Flexible dieting ultimately leads to better adherence. Like I said before, if you like what you're doing, if you like what you're consuming, you're more likely to stick to it, right? And flexible dieting is also known as IIFYM, if it fits your macros, which maybe some of you guys have heard of it now. So what flexible dieting is? It's having the freedom to do things like this. Swap chicken for turkey breast if you want it. Rice for potatoes. Green beans for Brussels sprouts. I'm sure most of you guys don't like Brussels sprouts, but I love them. Yeah. The key is you have to know how to track macros, and you have to know how to equate the calories in each, okay? This allows you to go out and enjoy birthday parties, going out to eat with family, friends. You can take a date on for ice cream if you want. You can make all this fit into your macros and still be able to hit the goals that you're aiming for. You can even have some beer and wine if you want, if you're a baby. So what flexible dieting is not? Now I know I passed around some of this stuff, but I put this up here because most people think they can build their diet around this, okay? That stuff I passed around to you, these things right here, can be used occasionally. They're not supposed to make up the majority of your diet, but flexible dieting does allow you to add some of those things back in so that you can enjoy eating. You can enjoy Halloween. We just had Halloween, right? So like I said, just not making up the majority of your calories for the day. So here's a little example. My friend Carter Good, I don't know if you guys follow him on Instagram. He puts up awesome diagrams like this a lot. Now I'm not saying you have to eat salad every day, and that's all you have to eat. But this is a good illustration of what flexible dieting can look like into your regimen. So salad a couple days a week. Have a slice of pizza. Salads for the rest of the week. Maybe you intermix 2 slices of pizza in there every now and then. The point is, you can have this stuff and you can still hit your goals and your targets that you're aiming for. The one on the right is not what you want to do, okay? That is a surefire way to fail at any diet that you're trying to accomplish. So what are macronutrients? All right, macronutrients, it's a type of food that we need in large quantities in our body. Protein are our building blocks, carbs and fats are our energy sources. In order to flexible diet, you really need to have an understanding of how to track macros. And that's the type of coaching that I do. I do have some clients that prefer a meal plan. I don't give them one because I'm not a registered dietitian, but most of them at some point end up learning how to track macros and switching to a flexible dieting lifestyle. Protein has 4 calories per gram. Carbs has 4 calories per gram. Although these are not interchangeable, okay? I know they're the same calorie equation, but they do act differently in your body and they have different reasons for being consumed. Fats are 9 calories per gram. Alcohol roughly works out to about 7 calories per gram. We know, when you know this and you've tracked for a while, it makes flexible dieting really easy, okay? Because although you might not be perfect when you go out, you can guesstimate what a sample size is. You can kind of estimate that serving a chicken breast at a restaurant you have, that burger you have, those fries you have, things like that. But you have to understand how to track macros and what each macro actually is. So what's the problem with diets? Well, I said it before, most of them are not sustainable, right? Most of you guys raised your hands when you said you've been on a diet, but you haven't been able to sustain it. Traditional diets tend to eliminate macronutrient groups. I'm sure you all are familiar with keto, right? It's a pretty big fad now. Flexible dieting allows you to not deprive yourself, allows you to have a social life, and still make progress with your physique goals. As you'll see in a little bit, I'll show you some clients who have actually been competing and have flexible dieted and did well. The strict adherence, this restriction leads to increased binge eating habits, potentially, okay? One problem that people with flexible dieting have is sometimes they macro hoard, okay? So they have this set macros that they need to hit for the day, protein, carbs, fat. Sometimes they won't eat much during the day, but then at the end of the night, they're hungry, they have all these macros. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna order that pizza because it fits my macros. Although that's okay, that can lead to some binge eating habits that could wreck you later on in life. And all diets do the same thing, guys. They put you in a caloric deficit. So keto, Atkins, carnivore, all these different diets that you're hearing about right now, the big thing is if you're losing weight on them, it's because you're in a caloric deficit. There are no magic diets. So benefits to flexible dieting. I've talked about it many times here. Better adherence to your macros and calorie goals. Enjoying settings like birthdays, holidays, dates. Easy to follow when you know how to track macros. Biggest thing is I think that it promotes no forbidden foods, okay? Passed out the candy like I talked about before. You can't have that stuff. Now, I will put the caveat that there are no bad foods unless it does not agree with you. If it causes you digestion issues, allergic reactions, things like that, that is a bad food for you. But there is no bad food in general, okay? People that flexible diet have greater motivation for achieving their goals. And I talked about it before, when you're invested in something, when you can sustain it and adhere to it, you are more motivated to go through that fat loss phase when you know you don't have to deprive yourself of a slice of pizza every now and then, or ice cream at night, things like that. And one of the greatest things is that flexible dieting has been shown to increase positive relationship with food. We live in a society today that eating disorders are very prevalent. It's not really the topic of this discussion, but myself, I actually almost died from an eating disorder about 8 years ago now. Very, very bad situation, okay? Like I said, that's a whole nother talk. But flexible dieting does teach people to have a better relationship with food and understand that you are not what you eat. I know you've probably heard that before, you are what you eat, whatever. To some extent, I understand that, but it does not define who you are, okay? You do not have to deprive yourself in order to lose some weight. So this is an interesting study done here at USF. This is actually the study that turned my attention to this master's program. Dr. Campbell helped out. This was from his lab. Lauren Conlin, if any of you guys are familiar with Lauren Conlin, I know you guys are. So they did a flexible dieting versus a rigid dieting study about 3 years ago now, 4 years ago? 16, right?
Yes.
16. And the purpose of this study was to compare flexible versus rigid dieting on weight loss, and they tracked them afterwards to see what the subsequent weight regain was, and these are in resistance-trained participants. So, what did they find? Well, sorry. There's 23 total, 10 males, 13 females, aged 18 to 39, so we used mostly college-age students. It was a 20-week study, 10 weeks in a diet phase, 10 weeks post-diet, so they tracked their progress after the diet was over. Participants were randomized to either a flexible dieting group, a flex group, or a non-specific, or comprised of non-specific food, or a rigid diet group. Both groups were in a 20% calorie reduction for the first 10 weeks, okay? So equal number of reduction based on what their maintenance was at, okay? And then after the diet phase was over, they were instructed to eat however they chose for the final 10 weeks. So what did they find? During the 10-week weight loss phase, both groups significantly reduced body weight, fat mass, and body fat percentage. So during the post-diet period, there were no differences in time spent in resistance training or aerobic training. So they were both working out the same, they were both doing cardio, all that stuff. Nor were there any differences in protein intake. And that's what's really crucial here is that when you have protein equated for, it really doesn't matter how carbs and fats are split up. As long as you're hitting your overall calories and your protein target is hit. And Jack's going to talk a little bit more about protein after this. So when in a calorie deficit, either flexible dieting or the rigid dieting was equally as effective. Okay? However, after, it appears that the flexible dieting group is more beneficial in creating a more anabolic environment post-diet, meaning they increased lean body mass more, which is very crucial for metabolism. So I want to go on to some client success. These are my clients. This is Patrick. Patrick did this show in August. He got second in an NPC show. He flexible dieted throughout his 16-week prep. Okay? You should see some of the pictures of the meals he sent me. Like pancakes at night with peanut butter and syrup on them. It was pretty interesting, I'll tell you that. This is Kelly. Kelly was with me for 10 weeks. We did a fat loss phase together. He's actually still with me, but we're doing a reverse diet now. He dieted using a flexible dieting approach. He did not have a meal plan. What he did, and this is a good strategy, he ate 5 meals a day. He planned 3 of them, okay? So you can still meal plan and flexible diet because he was out on the go a lot. He couldn't always, be there for a meal at home. So he planned a few meals during the day and then already accounted for those macros in his total. And then he was able to flexible diet for a couple other meals and enjoy things like a burger every now and then, some ice cream every now and then. We're about to finish a 12-week fat loss phase. We're finished now. We're into the reverse. Made this a little bit ago. This is Bailey. Bailey did a reverse diet with me for 8 weeks. The one at the top is when she came to me. The one at the bottom is at the end of the 8 weeks. She was one that was really, really focused on a meal plan. And it took her a little bit of convincing to kind of get her out of that mindset and talk to her about flexible dieting and how that can be beneficial for her. So that's an 8-week progress right there. I didn't put it up here, but during this time, she actually increased her calories by a little over 700 calories a day from what she was eating. Okay. I would like to do at some point maybe another talk on reverse dieting, but that's a whole other topic. But yeah, she did all that with a flexible dieting approach. And this is my latest client, Corey, who just competed last weekend. And we did a 16-week contest prep together. Once again, flexible dieted throughout. Got 3rd place in his first ever men's physique show. And actually we have, next week, he's doing his 2nd one. And then we're going to go into a long, extended off season for him to build some muscle. But he did great. He flexible dieted throughout and got 3rd place. So, is flexible dieting right for you? I've given you a lot of reasons why flexible dieting is a great option, but it's not for everybody, I'll be honest. Some people, it might stress them out more. You know, if you are very type A and you like things planned out, flexible dieting might be a little tough for you, right? Because you don't always know what you're going to eat next. You're going to have to sometimes just choose right on the fly, and that stresses a lot of people out. Some individuals, at least in macro hoarding, like I said before, they will fast pretty much all day long and save up all their calories. They might have 2,500 or 3,000 calories to eat, and they save it all to the last meal. Those are just bad habits to pick up, okay? And then certain dietary restrictions and health reasons might make flexible dieting not right for you, okay? That's something you'd have to talk to your physician about. So thank you. These are some places you can find me. My website, CoachDavidMathis.com, Instagram. I do have a YouTube channel. I post weekly, and any coaching inquiries right there. So thank you guys very much for letting me talk.